Hello Natural Beauties, thank you for clicking on this video. Today we're doing something just a little bit different. Many of you may know that my dryer went out the first week of February, and luckily I had some money saved for emergencies, but I figured since I spent a large chunk of money, I would try and do something to save myself a little money. So I have pulled a whole bunch of food out of my freezer to keep me from having to spend money on groceries. So I'm going to show you the things that I pulled out to eat for the week. Here is the food that I pulled out of the freezer. We're going to start over here on this side. You can see that I have some leftover biscuits, and I made those over the past weekend because I made some chicken fried steak, and of course, you know, we need some biscuits. Also, I have some sugar cookies. I am not a huge fan of icing. You can see I have like the taster cookie right up top where I've pulled pieces off of, but there are some sweets in there. I was going to meal prep some deviled eggs because I do have some eggs that we can use, but I decided to try something a little bit different. This is a Korean recipe. I think they're called Mayasaka eggs. You can see it's soy sauce, sesame seeds, it's got honey, lots of chili and garlic. What else is in there? And then of course some boiled eggs, green peppers. But I thought that I would try these just because they're high in protein. It's something a little bit different. Here is what the eggs look like, and they're pretty much marinated eggs, and they should be soft boiled. Now in this one, I just have some ham. It was ham on the bone, and I went ahead and pulled that out for some protein. And then right here, I have some cornbread, and I just kind of individually pack them, and then I'll freeze them so we can pull them out as, you know, as we want them. I pulled the cornbread to eat alongside. This is lentil soup. It's got ground beef in there and sausage, lots of like carrots, celery, pretty much vegetables to make it all taste good. But I figured between the lentil soup, the cornbread, and the ham, that would be a nice filling meal. And if we don't want cornbread, then you know we have those biscuits that we need to finish. Lastly, I pulled out some tamales. We make tamales around the holidays, and we always put some in the freezer. So I'm actually going to put this half dozen back in, but I pulled out a separate dozen that I'm currently baking because I'm going to make a tamale casserole. I also pulled out some cheese. I tend to buy the block cheese from Costco, and then I'll just kind of divide it like this. And when you freeze cheese, it crumbles really nicely. So if you're gonna shred cheese, that's actually a really good idea. But if you want whole cheese like this, it's gonna crumble real easily. So just keep that in mind. So I have, you can see where I have kind of portioned these out, and I'll put those in the tamales back in the freezer. I also cut some onions. I like my onions diced really small. And then here's the cheese that I'm going to use on my tamale casserole. And let's look at the actual casserole. Here is the casserole, and I just made some enchilada sauce out of some dried chiles and a little bit of leftover milk that I have. And then I'm going to put that crumbled cheddar and the onions on top. And this is going to be what we have for the week. And hopefully it'll last us even longer, and that'll keep us from having to spend money on groceries. Here is what the casserole looks like after I put some more cheese and onions on top. When it comes out, I'll probably just cut up some of those green onions right there and add them on top. But that is what we are going to have this week.